take a step towards yourself. See if that's possible. Can you take a step towards yourself? And obviously you can't, because you're already yourself. You couldn't be any more yourself than you are. So you can't take a step towards yourself. Why do I say that? Because whatever you want to call it truth, call it emptiness, whatever label you want to put, whatever box you want to put on the unknown, that doesn't really matter, because the point is that you can't get away from it. You can't get away from this, from reality. But you also can't get away from your humanness. You can't get away from the fact that you seem to appear to be inhabiting human form, or there is a body moving and interacting through this world. Because some people, sometimes, we get too caught up in the formless aspect of reality. We go from being very caught up in our minds and reality and everything that's going on, and then when we take a spiritual path, we sort of disconnect from it all and start to enter into the formless. And we think we are becoming one with everything, but we're actually just separating ourselves again, just in another different way. We go from being very caught up in reality and believing we're a separate individual self, to believing that we're just some ethereal mist, that we're just this formless pureness that's everywhere. But the sweet spot, I feel, is right in between the two extremes. And the sweet spot is seeing that the formless and the forms we appear in, the two realities, the two appearances, right, are almost, you could say, both almost as illusory as each other. That the idea that reality is absolutely formless and it's just this pure consciousness, even though that can be experienced, that is almost just as much as an illusion as believing that we're a separate human on Earth. And I guess the scientific material paradigm, of just a normal state of having an ego and stuff. Yeah, the two are both ultimately, I think, illusory. They're two extremes. Both can be experienced, but anything, but both not ultimately true. Because, the formless can feel quite real. Way more real than being mind identified. But sometimes you have to be a bit practical. Be like, well, I am, at the end of the day, I do experience, and there is a body here. And I'm seeing lots of colours and images and experiences, and I'm interacting with things. And I feel that that's a sweet spot. Somewhere in between the form and formless. The two almost intertwined with each other. But I feel like you can't really say, there's that quote that something that, emptiness is form and form is emptiness. But that's, it's great, but it's still trying to conceptualize reality. I feel like that, once we see that emptiness in form, that we even have to drop that, and just everything becomes as it is. It's like it's almost as simple as life can get, because we strip everything away from it. We strip even the idea of emptiness away from life. And there's just this moment appearing, words being spoken, objects, colours, sights, noises, all just happening spontaneously, no answers. Because I don't think reality it doesn't have answers, because things like everything needs to make sense, even ideas like things making sense or having to make sense is just a mind, it's just a construct of the mind. We're in our heads, we're like, things have to make sense, but making sense is a concept. Everything is a concept. Truth is a concept. The idea that there has to be truth is like, truth is just this idea that we have that means something is real, but what even is real? What defines real? Experience doesn't define real. You can have lots of false experiences. You can take acid and experience really trippy stuff, and is it real? I don't know. Was the dream I had last night real just because I experienced it? Is the reality I'm experiencing now real just because I'm experiencing it? And when we start to surrender to the fact that nothing's real, or that we, not so that nothing's real, because that could be quite nihilistic, but that we can't grasp onto reality and put any labels or concepts onto it, when we realize we don't really know what this is or what's going on, and we just let it unfold. We can just release a bit of tension. That we always hold this tension of trying to know and figure out life, and we're constantly trying to understand the infinite in whatever way it takes, or we believe in, or we're just trying to find happiness and understand what's going on. Like, I'm 23, and 23 years ago I popped out of a vagina into this world. That's very trippy to think about. And we just sort of popped out, all of us, and we're just sort of floating around going, what's going on? Like, deep down, no one really knows what's going on. We're just sort of born into this world, realm, whatever you want to call it, and we're all just trying to figure out what's going on here, whether we think about it or not. And the sooner you realise that the mind isn't going to figure it out, you can't possibly wrap your mind, thoughts around reality, or whatever this is, the unknown. I think the unknown works perfectly because the only thing you can know about the unknown is that it's unknown. And for some reason, that can bring a lot of peace. Because there's not this striving in the mind to figure reality out so it can be at peace. The mind just surrenders to the unknown, that we don't know anything, that we can't possibly know anything. Because who's to say what experience is real and what's not? So once we see that we can't really know anything, the reality just sort of is what it is, we surrender into that. We come into just a natural state of being. And sometimes we tap into this sometimes. I feel like the most profound moments in life is just when we're unsuspectingly, we may be on a walk, or we decide to sit down on a park bench and we just maybe watch some ducks in the water, or some animals, or we see dogs playing on the beach, and there's this moment of just simplicity. This moment, it doesn't have to be anything other than what it is. It's just a spontaneous unfoldment with no sort of direction, no goal. This unfoldment, whatever is unfolding right now, I don't think can be any other way, because it's just, it would be weird for let's call reality, in the infinite unknown, for there to just be nothing. Because that would be the unknown leaning to one extreme, right? The infinity has to just manifest as infinity. There's no other way reality could be, other than just what's arising now. Manifesting as the infinite, just appearing as, manifesting as. But calling it the infinite or whatever is almost personalizing it, because it's not personal. It doesn't seem to be personal. I don't think there's a one infinite God which has a mind that can think. I think this is just, you can't really say it, just infinite, spontaneous manifestation that's at the same time not really like, as I was saying before, kind of formless as well at the same time, but also manifesting infinitely, in this weird harmonious paradoxical nature. But yeah, all just conceptual ideas. Sometimes words, or listening to someone speak, and the words don't matter too much. It's because if you're trying to grasp what I'm saying with your mind, you're missing the point. The point is just to make your mind just go, oh, blank out, and then you're just sort of feeling what I'm saying, and you're like, yeah, I can feel, and it's like, yeah, like I like to, if I'm talking to someone, just point out that, it's so simple. Life can be very simple. The mind is what makes it so much more complicated than it needs to be. It makes the mind is what's complicated the whole spiritual process. We think and we analyze, and we got to work this out, and it's like at the end of the day, you're just sitting in your room watching YouTube, and that's it. That's what's happening, and that's simple. Life is just simple. It's all just movement, spontaneous movement, infinite manifesting, whatever you want to call it. But it's easy to forget. When we were kids, life was very simple. We just sort of flowed. And as our minds started to kick in and take more control, we got caught up, stuck up in our heads, and we lost touch with flow, spontaneity, or appeared to at least. We're never really out of touch with ourselves. We've always been closer to truth than we've realized. As I said at the start, you can't take a step towards yourself. You're already yourself. Truth's already here. You can't find it. Just the mind will say otherwise. And usually the body will agree. With thoughts, the body usually reacts to thoughts, or sometimes the body has emotional reactions which cause thoughts, which is why it's important to come down to the body and just feel into what's happening now. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.